Several election-related bills, they are being considered by lawmakers right now. These bills would do everything from limiting who can deliver absentee ballots to requiring voters to be registered 30 days before an election. Our Anna Zalian breaks down what bills are under consideration and how they would affect Idaho voters.
There's been movement on several bills at the State House this week related to elections, including House Bill 549. Representative Dorothy Moon, who is also running for Secretary of State, says this bill addresses election integrity concerns.
What this bill will do is address a multitude of issues that have been brought up after the 2020 election.
House Bill 549 would do away with same-day voter registration and party affiliation on Election Day and require voters to be registered 30 days before the election or register in person at their county clerk's office up to 4 days before the election. This also means, if passed, voters would have to register as Republican ahead of the primary election in order to vote in the Republican primary. It would also no longer allow an Idaho college or university student ID as a valid photo ID. Because of these changes, the Idaho Democratic Party says House Bill 549 would make it harder for many groups to vote.
And really, it's unfortunate, right? Idaho has been a leader in providing access to the ballot, and House Bill 549 specifically seeks to end things such as same-day voter registration, make it harder for young people to vote, for our elderly and rural folks to vote. As we have more people move into the state, for young people, for renters, for more transient people, a 30-day deadline on voter registration actually amounts to not being able to vote for people.
Idaho has allowed same-day voter registration since the 90s. Another piece of the bill involves provisional ballots, a ballot that requires the voter to come back to their county clerk with a valid ID. Voters would have to vote on a provisional ballot if they cannot show a valid photo ID at the polls, rather than signing a personal affidavit, as is currently required. Moon says these things will help to address concerns of voter fraud.
These are the kind of issues we need to do, is remove the doubt in the citizens' minds in this state.
There has been no evidence of voter fraud in Idaho. As we've reported, the Idaho Secretary of State's office performed recounts after the November 2020 election and says they found 0.1% margin of error.
House Bill 549 is essentially an entire rewrite of longstanding Idaho election law, and all apparently for no reason.
We'll continue to follow this bill and other election-related legislation as the session continues. In studio, Anna Zalian, Idaho News 6.